Hello, hello, hello. It's Sir David the Bard, yeah? You hear it outside, right? I'm at the little airport down here in Kangaroo City. We do have an airport. It's mostly for very small aircraft. And I'm telling you something, to teach a kangaroo to fly is a bitch. We have a lot of near accidents that turn into accidents. If they just put on the seatbelt and wouldn't hop, and the plane wouldn't do this, it'd get off a lot easier. And I'm one that really is into getting off a lot easier. Anyway, you'll hear the kangaroos out there. They hit each other. The kangaroo instructors throw the little ones out of the plane and then try to hit them with the prop. Teaching them and teaching them to, learn to fly. Well, I hate to bore you, and I know many times I do, but I was out today. I should have gone out the door. I should not have gone out the door. And I tell myself this, and I'm going to get a seat belt that goes on this chair, and it's like a chastity belt. It's going to have a big lock on it. And there's only a few of you I'm going to give that key to. Anyway, I bought another car. This is my weakness. New cars, fast cars. Here comes my...
I filled 2 up.
You filled 2 up?
Yeah, you're out of insulin.
Oh, I'm out? Okay, baby. Thank you. Shut my door there, will you? That was the little kangaroo putting the computer back together for me here. Anyway, I shouldn't have gone out. I gave you my story on Ken Garff, the nightmare of the Mormon who thinks he's going to be translated at any minute, and that my fuck you is going to hold him here. Fuck you, he can go anytime. Jesus, please take me. Anyway. Beautiful women. Fast cars. They're my weakness. I'm sorry, it's my... And I admit it, I am weak. But when I'm married, I'm married. I'll let you know that right now. You girls that keep writing me and wanting to inherit my kingdom. No. Anyway, I fell in love with this Sonata. I told you I had the 2011 Limited. Went down to Ken Garff. Everything went fine until the Mormon got in my seat of my car, and I wish I'd had an ejection seat. Anyway, the next day, today, yesterday, whatever, I went to another dealership. Now, the other dealership says, listen, Bard, we have the same car that they had that you couldn't afford. You had to buy the cheaper one. We have the expensive one, and it's $8,000 off. Oh, listen, I'm old enough to know, but I drove down there anyway. There's a piece of me that's human. Usually it's on the toilet, but sometimes out here in public, I can be human too. So anyway, I went down, and it was Murdock Hyundai down there in Murray, Utah, when I was in town here, and I bought a car from them. Easy as could be. The car that has everything in it, and that includes a little midget that sleeps in the trunk and washes the car when it's parked. You subscribe to him. Pay $50 a month and he just sleeps back there. Anyway, I'm just in love with this car. And I love it more than most of my children. In fact, my Mormon children, I know I love it more than my Mormon children. So anyway, I say to myself, self, you're going to die. You're an old man. Today I had trouble balance. Looked like I was at circus on a rope, and I'm right on the sidewalk. Anyway, I just put the clown suit on so nobody would know. So anyway, I'm driving the car around, and I'm telling you, these new cars are like your damn iPhones. Man, oh man, they are so complex. They have 10,000 functions, and each one of us is only going to use 22, So anyway, I have time on my hands, and we don't know how much time but the time I have, I'm playing with the navigation system, because I have this little job where I have to go around to different addresses, and by the time I look down at the computer to try to type in an address, I'm up the state capitol steps of Kangaroo City, and they go, "What are you doing, Bart?" And I was trying to park. "No, you were looking at the navigation again." "Yeah, you caught me." So anyway, I have to have one button. Now, I'm not talking about my married life, okay? I have to have one button on my navigation system. And I just push the button, and I say, "Hello, Becky." And she goes, "Hello, Bart, how are you?" I said, "I'm going to be good." "Can I take you somewhere?" I said, "Any time." She says, "Well, do you have an address?" And I said, "Yes, I do." So I feed the address to Becky. She says, "There it is. You want me to take you there?" And I says, "With my arms open." "Okay, turn right, let's go." It works, bitch. And it's like I've died a dyed old happy man. It works so good. It'll go anywhere. "Hey, Becky, can you take me to the Philippines?" She says, How much can you swim?" All right, just Alaska." "Okay." It'll go anywhere in the United States and Alaska. Or, in Canada. So anyway, that was fun. And so I went down with Murdock, and I said to them, "Why is this navigation working and works so well, and the one at Ken Garff sent me to Texas, Boston, and New England, and sent me all over the world?" And he said, "Well, they didn't put the little chip in it." 6 people, including the big Mormon state president, didn't know that that computer had to have a chip put in it. Then the navigation works perfect. They lost a $30,000 sale because they're that stupid and they don't want anyone to swear there. Probably going to go bankrupt. Anyway. Now, I can't get enough of this car. It's kind of like a honeymoon, you know what I'm saying? You do. You do. You don't even leave the hotel room. Bring the food in, more food. Anyway, it has every toy on it. So it had barred toys. Now, I've told you, I'm getting old, and I've been a very safe driver. I haven't had a ticket or an accident in 50 years, half a century. That shows a driver that knows what the hell's going on and not to get involved in it. These days, I'm teasing you, but some of it's true. The red lights look green. The blinkers, they don't turn themselves off anymore. I can drive from here to Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, with the blinker on. People go by honking, I think they're friends. I think they're Mormons going, "Hey, it's the Bard," like Jay Leno. I saw him once in Los Angeles on the freeway. "Hey, Jay, the Bard." He's waving, he's got the flag, the Snoopy dog flag waving in the wind behind him, a sports car. So anyway, I'm starting to learn, and boy, I've been at it for like 24 hours. This car is made for old people. It makes us safer. Here's what it does. It has so many computers on it, I ran the warranty up to 100,000 miles bumper to bumper. I couldn't afford to fix one of those computers in a million years. It has this computer on the front of the car, and it's looking where I am in my lane. I guess it sees the yellow lines, the white lines, and if I get a little lazy and I start to creep over, comes up and slaps me one and goes, You're lane drifting, you're drifting." I said, "Well, I've been drifting for years. Get back in the lane." Okay. So left, right, if I fall asleep at the wheel, it goes, lane drift, wake up, and hey, that's good for the Bard, falling asleep. Can't do that much anymore with the old lane drift. Now there's another radar unit that sits up there. I guess they're brothers, I don't know. And I just got this one figured out today, and I'm astounded. You set the speed control. So let's say you're in a state where you can go really fast, 45 miles an hour. In Kangaroo City, we don't go very fast. There's kangaroos everywhere, It's like a pedestrian. They have the right of way. Anyway, you're going down the freeway, say at 75. So you set your cruise control to 75. Then you push one other button. And you know me, I love to push that other button. Now, the car is on automatic. It won't steer. I still have to steer, and if I steer over, it'll get back in line, get back in line. It will go 70 miles an hour on a freeway until it comes up on somebody that's going slower. It applies the brake in the car and moves to the exact distance away that, it's like 10 cars, or one car length for each 10 miles an hour. So at 30 miles an hour, it follows a little bit close, but not at 80, it'll drop back 10 car lengths at 80. So it slows down. So if the guy in front of you speeds up, it automatically speeds up. If the guy in front of you, if you're in a traffic jam, I love it, because I go to sleep in traffic jam. They honk the horn, okay? So you're in a traffic jam, and the car in front of you slows down. My car slows. I don't have to touch anything. And pretty soon, everybody stops. Well, my car stops, but as soon as everybody starts moving, my car says, I'm in the group. It starts going again. Never touch the gas, never touch the brake. I just play with the windows like the kids in the backseat. So that's cool. It's longer. When an older person looks away from the road, it takes us longer to process. That's why we're dangerous. Young people can look over and look right back. We look over and go, oh shit. Today, my computer caught it. I wasn't looking, and the cars in front of me were stopping. Man, he applied the brakes, and it was perfect. Smooth. Now, of course, this is four-wheel disc brakes. This has another computer. I think this is the little brother computer. It's a brake assist. I didn't believe it when I first used it. You're going along, foot on the gas, you take your foot off the gas and slam on the brake. As soon as you do that, your foot don't mean crap. It's computer time. It measures all the friction of all of the tires on the entire car and applies differently all the braking power of the car. And I tested it with my son a couple of hours ago, and he said, good grief, Dad. He said, that's like the ground came up and just grabbed us. And I said, I know. It'll stop so quick, you got to peel yourself off the windshield if you're not wearing your seatbelt. So the brake assist, the lane changing, and the keeping the distance cruise control, all good stuff. Then it has like 97 buttons on it. You can push one, all the weather comes up. You push another one, all the weather. If it's sunny, it starts to rain. You push the other one, you can make it hail, snow. There's so many buttons, and it won't do any buttons when the car is moving. You got to be stopped to program, and so it knows old people. We don't multitask. We barely task. Multitasking. Mercy's so tiny. She's only about 110 pounds, and when she gets in the car, sometimes she sits on a little pillow, and sometimes on an elephant or a blimp. This one has the old fashioned, you just touch the button and it changes all the mirrors, and it changes all the seats and all of the up and down of the steering wheel and the telescopic part of this. So whoever gets in the car, you just push one button. Now it also had this on it. It says when fat old men drive these cars and buy them, they can't get their stomachs in and out when they get in and out of the car. So when I turn the key off, the seat goes all the way into the trunk, drops down on the ground, kind of like a handicap, and I can turn and step out of the doorway. That's cool. It's like you're not fat anymore. It's like, hey, that stomach cleared. Well, it moved back about 3 feet. So, it also has heated seats. Now, I've had those before, but these are air-conditioned seats. So, if you fart a lot, you just turn your air-conditioned seat on. It never gets hot. I couldn't believe air-conditioned seats. So, anyway, it has also the mirrors that are heated, and they dance when there's nothing to do. You can make them dance with a little button. It's like the kids. The kids play with all that crap. It has curtains in the back. Metal. Beautiful metal curtains that come down in the back window. So if you're carrying drugs and someone breaks the window, they can't get through the screen. It's bitchin'. Now these mirrors are for old people too. The mirrors are smarter than a human being. When I'm driving and I want to turn and change lanes to the right, I just look at my mirror. If my mirror is clear, it's clear. There's nobody in that blind spot. That radar is looking at that blind spot all the time. Now, if somebody is in a blind spot and I can't see them, then the mirror will start flashing and saying, no, there's somebody there. Don't try to change lanes or you're going to run them off the road. And so I like to play with the mirror. So it has a secondary computer. So if you push your blinker up like you're really going to move over, now the mirror goes, holy shit, he didn't believe me. It sets off an alarm. Terrain ahead, pull up. So anyway, I love to play with the computer on the mirror. And it's neat because if you're driving along, you think, I might want to change lanes. All you do is put your blinker on. You don't hear anything. You know that's clear. You can get over there. Now, the radar in the back of the car, I haven't figured out yet. In the back of the car, there's a special brake. I figured that out today. There's an automatic parking brake. Once the car stops, no matter where, in a parking lot, up a hill, down a hill, the brakes will apply. The car ain't going nowhere till you push the gas a little bit, and it'll go. So up a hill, it's not going to drift back, and it's not going to wander in a parking lot and run over a child. It's called the barred assist. So anyway, in the back, I know this, that the camera, my backup camera, is really bitchy. It's big. You know, with old people, they've finally decided you got to have those things big enough that we can see them. So when you're backing up and you turn, the camera turns with you and shows where you're going. Is it clear? Now the camera on the older one, the 2013, it's just square. It just comes back. This one turns around and goes, do you see that, Bard? And I go, yeah, I do. And then it said, if you're backing out like a big store parking lot and you can't see, you're just backing slow like old people do. We can't see shit, but we want to make sure when we hit it, not much damage. The radar looks to the left and to the right of the back of the car. And if there's a car coming that's going to cross me backing up, it applies the brakes and it says, no, don't, there's a car coming. And it beeps. The seat vibrates. They know old people, we need every sensory input used to be able to understand what's going on. Now, the mirrors on the side that are automatic, they test how fast the cars are going coming up on you. So you may have plenty of room when you look to change, but the car's coming beside you up at 80 miles an hour. The mirror knows. It goes, no, don't do it. You got room, but he's coming so fast, he's going to run off or hit you. So it judges itself that way. Now, I haven't seen it in the rain. The brake assist in the rain, I have no idea on snow and ice how it's going to act. But that's fun. That's fun. It has a moonroof that's a sunroof too. It's the whole top of the car. You open the sunroof and it goes back to the glass and the rest of the roof is glass. Today I had it tinted. Now let me give you the last part of this story. I take it to the tint man. He's top notch. He says it's going to be about an hour, hour and a half. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. Pull the driver's manual out of there. It's a new car, and I haven't read it, so I'm going to take a look at it. So I sit down in the room there, and this book, oh my God, it's like 900 pages. The first book, like there's 6 or 7. It looks like the Journal of Discourses from the Mormon Church. Anyway, I sit down and I said, well, it's not going to intimidate me with all of those pages. I'm just going to look up in the reference. Navigation. I want to learn more about the voice. I can change the voice. I can change the language. And it also, I forgot to tell you, it has a computer that will turn the blinker off. You can set it for 2, 3, 4, or 7. And if after 7 blinks, it turns the blinker off because it knows old people, we forget. So we look cool, we look young, so it turns it off. I'm looking in here for navigation, and I look at, and you know, I still have enough education that I can alphabetize. And I get down to M, like in mother. Okay, so I look to the next section, should be N. I thought navigation was N. No, N's. None. Not one N section. Like nosebleed. It wasn't, there's nothing with an N. And it went, let's see, it went M, O. It went from M to O. No N. Now I looked at that and I said, you know what? You buy a new car, $30,000 is a lot of money to me. You know, years ago I'd buy a car for $150. It'd go, you know, a half a year maybe, and I'd lay under it, putting starters on it and hoses and fan belts, and you know, I rode tires till I could see the cord. If you could just see the cord in a little spot, that tire's still good. You got to see the cord all the way around. So anyway, there's no end for navigation. And I'm saying to myself, how can you have 900 pages, and I've got like, I don't know, 8, 9 subscriptions. It has Wi-Fi in it, which, I don't know, I guess if I drive to a hotspot, like at BYU, anyway, it has Wi-Fi, it has Google, it has the internet on it, and then it has, oh, it has an emergency, this is all for me, they built this for me. It has a computer that if I crash, turn over, blow up, the computer will call the police and say, the Bard is screwed, he's upside down, and here is his address and location. Hey, I like that. And then it has a panic switch that you push. And I don't know what kind of a panic you need to push that switch, but I pushed it today just to see what it does. A little policeman jump up out of the trunk and he says, we're going to the police. I was, no, turn it off. And you can't find the buttons to turn it off, you know. So I have to pull over and turn the key off. And it's still going. So I've had a lot of fun with it. I've got to take it back to the dealer and say, where the hell is the information on the navigation, the colors, the streets? You want a restaurant, a gas station, the red light district in Salt Lake City, it's on there. You just push and it takes you right there. So anyway, I'm having a fun time in my old age. No one could deserve it more. No one. And I just appreciate you guys listening to my bullshit. And I wish, and I know that I go with a lot of people, you know, I forget, 1,500, 2,000 a day, something like that. And I know many of you are hurting. Many of you don't have a car. Many of you never had a new car. Many of you have had nothing but some real troubles, health-wise and financial, relationships, etc. I've had all of those things, and I feel for you. And I want to give you some words of hope. It may change. Now, I'm not going to give you the Mormon hope. Okay, oh, it's going to change. God is going to bless you. Everything happens for a reason. Well, maybe everything does happen for a reason. Maybe you're just meant to suffer. Maybe you're just meant to be poor. But here's what I'm telling you. I've been in the mud and the blood and the beer. I've been semi-homeless. I've slept on the floor with nothing. Not even a blanket or a pillow of a relative. And I have once or twice been hungry. Not for days, but a day or so. I've had quad bypass surgery. I know what pain is. Don't tell me about childbirth. Don't even begin to tell me about childbirth. Got 14 kids, and every one of my wives was up and running track within 7 days of C-sections or natural births. Took me a year to breathe. Took me a year to breathe without severe pain in my chest. Relationships. I have 14 kids. I think only, 5 or 6 we have a relationship with. The rest of them I gave up for adoption because they're Mormons. I've tried to commit suicide 4 or 5 times. Guns, gas, insulin, falling asleep at the wheel. But I couldn't hit anything if I closed my eyes. I'm like, this is a bitch, you know. You want to close your eyes. Go right by the cement thing. God damn, you turn them. Whole stuff. Anyway, I'm just trying to give you some words of encouragement. I have been nothing and nobody. I have been in a cult for 50 years that crucified me. If you like the Jesus stuff, it crucified me. It made me mentally ill. I have a mental illness. I've been in mental hospitals. I've never been taken into one. I've always walked in myself because the rest of you seem so mental. I go, I'm going in there. Those people, there's like 4 or 5 Jesuses in there, and I want to talk to a Jesus. So anyway, I'm not trying to be big and important because I got a new car. What I'm trying to be is, damn, I was in my late 30s before I ever bought my first new car. And I had 5 kids. They wouldn't even fit in the car. I laid underneath, putting starters on, fan belts, oh God, soft plugs coming out, transmissions, water pumps. I've been there, folks. My parents never paid one damn dollar for me to go to BYU or for my master's degrees. Never paid a cent. And every one of my ex-wives, they took the house, the car, my tools, my clothes, my pride, my kids, and my money. 5 times. So don't cry baby to me if you've been divorced once or twice. Been there. Done that. Here is what I'm saying. You be a good person. You and me, just be good people. I don't need a Jesus or a Muhammad or a religion. I just need to be a good person. Things can get better. I'm not going to promise you, because you know, the Bard don't lie. Sometimes things don't get better, but you know what? If you've got $2 and you can go get a McDonald's double stacked 8 high cheeseburger, go get it. Go get it. Live it. Live it every second. Don't wait for good things to happen. Go make good things happen. I get up and I look out that window and I see the pond and the river and the trees and the beautiful things. I say to myself, I got one more day. Who can I help today? Who could make my life better by making me feel that I've done something for somebody? And if it's not doing a school project with the kids, it's the neighbors or the renters or whoever. Live it. Live it. Don't lay in bed and look out. I know what chronic clinical depression is. I'm bipolar. You don't have anything to tell me about depression, suicide, manic. You don't have anything to tell me about diabetes. It's the only thing that keeps me alive right here. The only thing that keeps me alive. Make things better. Don't think that you're that old. Don't think you're that crippled. Don't think you're that poor. One day I couldn't buy that car because it was too expensive. The next day I found another dealer at $8,000 off the price of the car. Here's the Jesus. Here's my testimony. Jesus Murdock, Hyundai. Please, just try to enjoy my few minutes of pleasure. I have something now that, I never thought I would have. Never. I never thought I would be good enough to buy a car this nice and play with all the toys in it and, The only thing I haven't gotten in life is Marie Osmond's panties. And I'm looking for those to put up onto the rail so they'll wave in the wind. And, the old hats where they put the old coonskin caps on and the coon's tail flopped in the wind. You're all too young for Davy Crockett. Please, understand, I'm just having a good time. I'm just having a time of my life, and my tithing paid for that damn car. My tithing paid for that car. My tithing now pays for my kids' braces. My tithing now pays for the operations and things that have to go on from time to time. My tithing pays for the pump, $4,000, insulin, $300 or $400 a month. You and me need to just practice being good people, and good shit is going to happen to us. We don't need the pale ale. We don't need, oh God, hear the words of my mouth 3 times. We don't need to scare people trying to cut their throats, trying to cut their hearts out, trying to cut out their guts, sending money to a place where you have no idea where the money went, and living in a cult, and then making up funny secret salutations. Hey Bard, how you doing today? Health in the navel, marrow in the bones, strength in the loins and in the sinews, power in the priesthood be upon me, and upon my posterity through all generations of time, and throughout all eternity. How are you doing? Bard's gone.